I want to quickly go over the course syllabus and a little bit about our Blackboard website. So here's our Blackboard website. I'm looking at it by student view. And I organize this as folders under content. So click on the left-hand side for content and all these folders will show up. So first, under syllabus and readings and dates, I sent out the syllabus already, and here's a link for it. And also, if you scroll down, here's some of the dates and the due dates. And this summer, I have changed a little bit. Students have asked me to evaluate by points and not by percents. So I've changed like my quizzes and midterms, and now they're out of a certain number of points. So the total points for the summer will be 500 points, and you can look at this breakdown and some of the due dates. So I think Blackboard can pretty easily report the points, total points, and then how many points you have. So you should be able to pretty easily keep on top of the grades that you've got. So a couple things under these assignments. Uh, every other class day, so every even day, there's going to be some kind of quiz or an assignment. And I'll have a link for that, and I'll show you where those are. So there's going to be 10 of these, and they're 10 points each, so that's 100 points. And some will be pretty short, some may be longer quizzes, online quizzes that you'll have to do, or an assignment or something, but I'll explain those. Here's our midterm test. We will have some labs, so 5 labs that are due every Sunday night at midnight, and I'll try to make these open starting the Monday before of that week, so you'll have all week to work on it. There's one paper that I'll ask you to write that's due in June. One write-up lab. So in addition to these 5, there'll be one other lab, and I'll probably give you maybe some pretend data or a pretend experiment. I'm not exactly sure, but that will also be due in June. And then our final is the last day of our summer class, which is June 24th. And a little bit of participation points. So a total of 500 points. And here you can look at the schedule and the readings. Basically, for our textbook, we're reading from chapters 1 up until mainly chapter 15, a little bit some diabetes and older adult things that we're starting off in some of the later chapters. But pretty much chapter 1 up until chapter 15. So if we would click on this syllabus, and let me drag over the syllabus. So here's our syllabus for the class. And probably the best way to communicate with me is by email. So it's james.hokanson@cortland.edu. We officially will not have class Monday, May 25th. I'll post some things, but I won't post anything for that Monday. And I'm going to try to have some office hours, and may I'll ask you when the best time to do this. And what I'll do is maybe in the spring semester you've done this, but it's like Zoom meeting, but through Microsoft it's called WebEx. So I have my own sort of WebEx page, and I can just leave that open during my office hours, and you can ring in and we can talk if you've got questions. I'll go back a little bit to Blackboard and show you a little bit, but the way I organize Blackboard is by days, and each content folder is a different day. And I'll try to have a couple 2 or 3 days ahead, but I won't open up everything. It just gets too confusing. And so you have a lot to do this summer. I mean, we are going to cover a whole course, in just actually 20 days worth of instruction. So you've got to spend a lot of time reviewing my stuff and reading out of the textbook, and then working on some assignments. So a lot to do, for this end of May and June. And some priorities, if I make a PowerPoint and if I make a video of that PowerPoint, that's probably number one priority in terms of studying. I also post notes from the book. I'll post some review questions or quiz questions or lab stuff. I'll assign chapter 2, but there are things out of chapter 2 that we may not cover. So that's probably less priority. But I've still assigned chapter 2. So you still need to read chapter 2, for example, and be aware of it. So these are the priorities, but it doesn't mean that, if these videos are low priority, it doesn't mean don't look at them. It means that it's another good way that the material is presented, and maybe that way will help you understand stuff. And you can look at the course description and course objectives. One way I like to sort of visualize this course is talking about energy. And so we're going to talk a lot about ATP production, so how our cells and muscle cells are making this ATP, but then also how our muscle cells contract and use up that ATP. So the way I like to sort of visualize this class is sort of thinking about energy and ATP. So some of the quizzes and the tests are going to be online, obviously, and so they're going to be open book. So they're open book and open notes. Along with that are some other rules. And one is that you just can't simply copy. So you can look things up, but you can't cut and paste from some website. You have to rewrite it in your own words. And same with if there's different online assignments. You also can't share quizzes and test questions with each other. Some of my quiz questions and test questions are from a database. So you may get some questions and others in the class may get different ones. But nevertheless, you can't, text each other or email each other the test questions. And I'll go over more with, certainly in terms when we get to the midterm. And as I mentioned previously, we're pretty much going from, chapters 1 up until about chapter 15. And this is what I posted earlier or shared earlier in our Blackboard website. So if we go back to the content page of our Blackboard website, and you see that here's our syllabus, and I now have day 1, day 2, day 3. Remember, Monday, May 25th is Memorial Day, so officially we're not doing anything. But I have posted things, and there's a lot actually going on with day 3 of our class, which is Tuesday, May 26th. So if you want to work ahead this weekend, you can work on that stuff. And if you click in one of these days, we can look at Thursday, May 21st. I will provide a sort of to-do, so what I'm asking you to do for that day. And so here's a book chapter to read and start to read another book chapter. Here's a paper to read. Here's a video about that paper. A short PowerPoint, I think in our lab to do some math, and a reminder to do the lab. And here, then you would click on notes and videos, and here are the notes and the videos that I would ask you to look at and to read. And so here's my video about this eccentric training paper. And here's the actual paper that I'll ask you to read. And here's a PDF file of just the PowerPoint slide. So those are the days that we'll be covering. So that's the way I've organized it. Then here are all of our quizzes and assignments. And this may be empty right now. But you would go in here, and actually on day 2, there's going to be an assignment link here, and I'll share you'll be able to see that. But here's all of our quizzes and assignments. So they're organized in this folder. And every second day, so every even day, so day 2, day 4, day 6, there'll be some quiz or an assignment in this folder. And then there's labs, and labs are due Sunday night. So here's all of our labs. And our first lab is due Sunday night, and it's a way to estimate your VO2 max. And I'll have another short video explaining this first lab just so you understand it. I don't know if I'll have videos for each of the different labs, I'm not sure. But we'll have 5 labs here, and then a 6th lab that will be a write-up lab. So this is the way I've organized our Blackboard site. This seems to work well for me, at least, and hopefully it'll work well for you. And as the semester goes on, as our summer session goes on, I'll add more days. I won't add all of them up. It just gets too confusing for me and for students. But I'll try to keep at least a day, maybe 2 days ahead, so you can work ahead. I will try to post labs at the beginning of the week, and you can work on those if you need to all week long, and then they'll be due that Sunday night. So here's our organization. If you have any questions about anything in here, again, probably the easiest way to communicate is by email. But also, we'll try to figure out a good time, or you can actually ask, and we can meet in my WebEx office space, and I can share that link with you. And it's just like a Zoom meeting, and we can communicate that way if you want. So welcome to our class, and welcome to our Blackboard setting, and hopefully this will work out well for you.